Imagine this. Leads are pouring in from your website, but your inbox, crickets. You know you should reach out fast with a personal touch, but you're buried under dozens of names, emails, and generic templates. What if you can clone yourself and send every new lead a hyper-personalized video instantly without lifting a finger?
Hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates is looking to boost performance in content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book a quick call with me using the link below.
Believe it or not, that was a complete digital clone of myself saying stuff that I didn't come up with. By the end of this video, you'll be able to build an n8n workflow that captures form submissions on your website, triggers an AI video prompt agent to craft custom scripts, and send those scripts to HeyGen's API to create a video of you saying exactly what each prospect needs to hear, automatically. No more copy-paste outreach, no more one-size-fits-all emails. Let's jump in and build your own digital sales rep clone. So jumping right into the build, the first trigger you want to hit is actually the on-form submission trigger. And the reason why we want to choose this one is because this is one of the ways that you're going to get your information from the website is through a form. And this doesn't have to always be an n8n form. So this could be a HubSpot form or whatever form that you use, maybe Typeform that you embed on your website. But in this case, just to make everything simple, we're going to use the n8n form that's native to n8n. So when you hit that, you see just a couple things here. So the title of the form, let's say this is for a marketing agency. So this is going to be inbound form marketing for these purposes. Let's call it the Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency. Okay, so let's pretend that this business is going to be a marketing agency business called Purple Unicorn. And for the form description, this is just going to be an inbound lead from website. Okay, and of course you can kind of change that. I think this is what's publicly viewable, so you might not necessarily, maybe inquiry from website. Okay, now this is where you add a form element. So in this case, we want to say name, which is the name of the lead, right? And just this is a required field because you gotta have names. Phone numbers, right? This is important as well. So it's gonna be in numbers, but we may not want it to be a required field because some customers or some leads are just not comfortable sharing phone numbers right off the bat. Email address is an important one. So this could be a required field. So I don't think, so there you go. So there's an email type. So you're gonna choose that one. What else? So let's see, business URL. So remember, if you are a marketing agency, you probably are working with businesses. So you might wanna have a business URL as part of that. So let's see if there's a URL type, password text. Yeah, no, I don't think there is. So that's fine. Business URL, and let's say, what are your marketing pain points? Okay, let's see. So in this case, we want to choose a drop-down list, and the option would be, let's say, performance marketing, product marketing, content marketing, and others. Okay, so let's just do that, and we'll make that quite a field and multiple choice as well. All right, so let's just execute step and see what it looks like. So inbound form, inquiry. So, okay, so looks like everything is viewable by anybody that's accessing this form. So you might want to not call it inbound form, but in any case, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up. So let's say the name is Jake, phone numbers, I'm going to skip that, email address. I'm just going to put my email address, mark@gmail.com. So for business URL, I'm going to pick a random business. In this case, this is a Pilates gym. And what are your marketing pain points? I'm going to pick performance marketing and content marketing, and I'm going to submit that. Cool. All right. So I'm just going to close that. As you can see, you're getting all these information come in as the output of the on-form submission. So the second note you want to hit here is to pass these on-form submissions to an AI agent. So in this case, I'm going to do a model node with OpenAI. So what we want this node to do is really to be a video prompt agent for HeyGen, right? So HeyGen is basically the platform that we're going to use to generate your avatar, doing an intro video, introducing yourself, the company, and a personalized message to this particular lead, all right? Okay, so message a model, and from the list, we're going to pick GPT, let's say, let's do a 4.1, and we're going to do a system prompt here, right, before we fill in the user prompt. And in the system prompt, here's what we're going to do. So this is the simple system prompt that I put in for this particular video prompt agent node. And of course, I wrote it out myself. So you can definitely do a better job by just throwing the whole thing into ChatGPT and asking it to give you a more effective prompt for the video prompt agent, right? But in this case, it's a simple, you're an effective video prompt agent for Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency. Your job is to create an effective prompt to send to HeyGen API to prompt a video avatar to say something impactful and personalized to the inbound leads. Start the video with, hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. And at the end, I just want to tell it that you'll receive an inbound form submission input with the lead information in the user input. So just to let it know what it can expect from the user input. So in this case, I'm going to basically format the information that it's receiving. So in this case, I formatted it nicely, which is just in the fields of names and phone numbers and the email addresses and the business URL and marketing pain points. I'm gonna chuck this. I'm just gonna open that up, load that up so you guys can take a look. I'm just gonna chunk it like that, okay? So, I'm just add a comma there, okay? So anyway, so let's try to execute step. And by the way, for those of you who are not sure how to connect OpenAI with n8n, I have a separate video where I walk you through the step-by-step process of how to do that. So I'll link it up here or down in the description as well. So do check it out if you haven't done so. But in this case, we have the output here, which is the content prompt for HeyGen, which is, hey, this is Mark from da-da-da. Breathe. Okay. So as you can see, it's including the prompt for HeyGen API. So I might want to specify in the system prompt an additional output rule, which is output rule only output the prompt or script, sorry, not prompt. So the script that will go into HeyGen API. All right, so we're gonna do this, and actually, just for clarity, I will also rename this because technically this is not a video prompt agent. I apologize, that's the wrong sort of naming. It should be a script prompt agent for HeyGen. All right, so let's try to execute step again. And there you go. So this is what I wanted to say, or the avatar say, hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates, which is the business URL that I gave OpenAI earlier. It's looking to boost performance and content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book a quick call with me using link below. I can't wait to chat and help your business thrive. Okay, so looks pretty good. So let's do a HTTP post request to HeyGen. So this is post request HeyGen. All right. So the next thing you want to do is actually go to HeyGen. So just go to the website, heygen.com. All right. And basically, this is a website. And what you want to do is sign up. You can sign up for free. So I'm just going to show you how you do that. Right. So in this case, I'm going to do email, mark@gmail.com. All right. So send code. So here's a code and verify that. It's a new password. Just put in your new password, create account. All right, so it's as easy as that. Registration is complete. So it's going to ask you, what kind of plans you want to take up. So I'm going to choose 3 for now. Personal. So just some little onboarding questionnaire here. Hobbyist, marketing video. So there you are. So what you want to do to get started is to go to avatar. And in this case, you want to create a new avatar of yourself. And what you do is start with video, and you can essentially, just go through the onboarding here. And essentially what you're doing is just recording a 1 to 2 minute video of yourself so that HeyGen can actually process, how you sound, how you look, etc. So you can go ahead and do that. You can upload a pre-recorded video if you want to. And of course, you can also just record directly on webcam. And there's some consent that you need to go through as well. You need to record your video saying, I consent, using my image or whatnot, so that HeyGen doesn't get in trouble for using your likeness and your image, right? So once you're done all of that, and I've done that earlier, so your page will look something like this. As you can see, I've created 2 avatars, just different angle, different look, different sounding avatars. But essentially, if you were to click on the avatar, you can...
Your hyper-realistic avatar is ready. Try creating videos with it. Also, click the feedback button to share what you think. Hope you enjoy.
All right. I don't know if that is super realistic, but it's close enough. And I've only given it about a minute and a half worth of video. So you can keep giving it more data for it to look more realistic, closer to what you sound and look like. I think it's good enough for us to go ahead and plug that into n8n, right? So now where you want to go is to go to HeyGen API documentation. All right, so just type that into Google, or you can search it on the help section as well, but it's just easier to type it on Google and it'll pop right up. Then go to API reference. And where you want to go here is go to video generation, which is to create avatar video. Go to that section. So you can see there's a curl request example here. So you just want to go ahead and click that and go ahead and request example. And it's going to give you a full curl command here. And what you want to do is copy that and go back to your workflow and import the entire curl, right? So there you go. All right, cool. So the first thing you want to do is to set up your authentication. In this case, we're going to click on generic credential type, and we're going to choose header auth, and we're going to create new credential. All right, so we're going to name this HeyGen demo, okay? Just for us to remember. And again, go back to your curl command so you can see under the header authentication here, it says x-api-key. So this is basically the name of the header auth. So just paste that in. And essentially for the API key, where you want to get that from is to go to your HeyGen dashboard. And what you want to do is just click on your profile name on the left-hand of the top left-hand corner here, and click on settings and go to subscriptions API. Go to HeyGen API tab and just copy the API token here. And keep in mind, I'm actually using a paid plan with HeyGen. So some of these video generation features might be limited under the free plan. So just to let you guys know, if some errors pop up along the way as you build your workflow, that might be the reason. In terms of how we connect the API to the workflow and how everything works is exactly the same, whether you're on a free plan or a paid plan. So you can still follow along here. So go back to the workflow and you're gonna paste the API key and click on save. Cool. All right, so now that's done. We can take away basically the API key credentials here because we've already had the header authentication up here. And what we want to do is go down to the JSON body. As you can see, this is, let me just blow that up for you. As you can see, this is a pretty long string of JSON here. And that's because there are a couple of things that are related to the video generation. So for example, caption is whether or not you want caption to go with the video, and whether you want the title and what's the name of the title and the dimension of the video. There's also the video inputs, kind of description of the video, character, etc. And matting is basically just whether or not you want to remove background. And voice, of course, which type of voice you want to use, because within HeyGen, as you can see, there are many avatars, and even for your own avatar, you might create 2, 3, 4 avatars. And you can actually use some avatars that are readily available on the HeyGen platform themselves. So you can actually choose all of that. So what you wouldn't do is just to get rid of the things that we don't necessarily care about when it comes to generating this video, right? So one of the things is, in terms of matting, we're not really, we don't really care about that. We want the background to be there. So I'm just going to delete that, right? And in terms of voice, we want that, of course, characters. We want that. Captions, we don't need captions, title, or callback ID. So we're gonna take that away too. And we don't really need the background settings as well. And we don't want text as well. We don't want text to appear. So we're gonna take away that. Actually, this part as well, because it's part of the text section. And we don't really need these either. So when you do that, you inadvertently would have messed up the format somehow, right? So when you try to run this, you're probably going to see a error message that says JSON parameter needs to be valid JSON because this is no longer a valid JSON. What you want to do is just copy this whole chunk and go to ChatGPT and basically just say, format this into valid JSON. And of course, you can go through it yourself if you're familiar with how to do that. You can obviously do it yourself, but I just find, this is an easy way for us to do that and much quicker. So I'm just going to copy that chunk and go back and just paste it, right? So once you have this, it becomes much easier. You only have your dimension, which is correct, and the character. So this is where we choose our avatar, right? So how do we choose avatar? How does HeyGen know which avatar to use? Is through the avatar ID. So you want to take this and basically replace it with the avatar ID. How do you get the avatar ID? So we want to go back to the HeyGen dashboard, right? And go to your avatar. And on the triple dots here, just copy avatar ID. And there we go, that's the avatar. And just paste the ID here, right? Talking photo ID. Actually, we don't need this, right? We can. And I realize also a couple of things that we don't need here. And the voice speed can be 1. Motion excited. Okay, we can delete that. So now, just to make sure that we have all the input that we need, the avatar ID, we have it. We have scale, which is 1. Avatar style normal, that's fine. And then voice type. So this, we want to change this to text. The reason is because we wanted to read the text that we're going to feed into the API, right? So in this case, the voice ID, we want to make sure that it's selecting the right ID. So how do you do that? You go back to your HeyGen dashboard, go to AI voice. In this case, just get voice ID and go back and just type in your or paste your voice ID. And the input text, we're going to grab the entire chunk of content, which is output by the script prompt, and just paste it here because that's a script we want the avatar to read. All right, cool. So let's try to run this and see what happens. Cool. Okay, so we're getting the video ID. So the post request was successful. It's sending it basically all these information with the avatar ID, the voice ID, as well as the content of what we want the avatar to say to basically HeyGen, right? Oh, and this JSON body part of the workflow is a little bit more complicated. So what I'll do is I'll link the entire chunk here down in the description below. So if you don't want to go through the hassle of kind of deleting the parts that are not applicable and formatting it through ChatGPT and stuff like that, you can just copy and paste what I have shared in my description link below, just to help you guys out. As is preparing the video, as usual, we want to be able to wait for, let's say, in this case, I'm just going to wait 10 seconds, right? Let's see, 10. Cool. Just execute that step. Yeah, a couple things I want to do, which I forgot to do earlier, is that because these data has been pre-populated, what I want to do is just pin those data. And this just allows you to use the data that's been passed through here as the data that's populating these variables without having to run the node again and again if you're changing anything and you wanted to have some form of data comes and for you to drag all those variables in, right? So just a little tip there, it's a very useful tip actually, the way, when you're building your workflow, so just to let you know, let's pin that as well. And so what you want to do here, basically once you post, obviously you want to get, so this is going to be HeyGen get request. So what you want to do here is go back to the HeyGen API documentation. Now we want to go to the retrieve video status and details. As you can see, you have a curl get request here. Just want to copy that whole curl command, go back to the workflow, and just import the entire curl command here. And so in this case, authentication, we've already set that up earlier. What we're going to do is just to choose the same one. And so you can see part of the curl request and the way it fetches the video ID to know which video to fetch for you is to use a query parameter with video-ID, right? So we want to copy that and come back, toggle on the send query parameters, and the name would be video_ID, and the value would be the video ID that we see here, right? So that's the video ID we want to fetch, and that's how we tell HeyGen to fetch this particular video ID. So again, we want to delete that. We don't need it because we already have the header authentication there. So just to give you an overview of what we've done so far before I hit execute step on this particular node, is that we have on a form submission, the information coming in from a website or landing page, passing on the information to a script prompt agent, which is an OpenAI agent, which gives the script of what to say to HeyGen. So HeyGen has processed the video that we've given it together with the input of what to say, picking the right avatar ID and the right voice ID. And basically it's generating that. And every time when we create a post request to generate video, we want to wait a certain amount of time, in this case 10 seconds, and then it's kicking it out to a get request, which now we're trying to get the video output and we're passing on the video ID into this node. So I'm just going to execute step here. And as you can see, we're getting a bunch of output data. We've got the status, which is the status of the video. And so we've waited just enough time. If we had executed it slightly earlier, it's not going to say completed, it's going to say processing. So in this case, it's completed. We have the thumbnail URL of the video, and then we have the actual video URL. So I'm curious to see, so let's hit the video URL and see what the video looks like.
Hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates is looking to boost performance in content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book a quick call with me using the link below. I can't wait to chat and help your business thrive.
All right. Could be better, but that was pretty good. I think that's good enough to kind of be the first outreach intro message to a potential lead. And I believe it improves the conversion of the inbound experience, right? So going back to the workflow. So great, we've got the video URL now. What we want to do here is just to make sure that, as I mentioned earlier, the status here is completed. So, everything is good. But just in case, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for HeyGen to generate the video. What you want to do is just to create a loop here, an if loop. So what we're saying is if the status from the GET request is equal to completed, in this case, we want to say that it goes into another agent, which is I'm going to use another OpenAI agent here, which is a message model agent. I'm going to fill that up a little bit later. Because if it's true, it means the video has been completed. So I'm just going to pass the video URL to the agent. In this case, this is the email agent. So what it does is it's going to craft an email, put in the video thumbnail, the video URL, and send that to the lead, right? So that's only if the video has been completed. But in the case when the video status is not completed and still in progress, we don't want the workflow to fail, right? So if we don't have this if note loop, the status of the video is not completed, it's just going to break the entire workflow, right? So what we're going to do is when this falls, we're going to wait another, let's say 10 seconds. And I want to connect it there, and I want to connect it back to the HeyGen GET request, right? So if it's getting the status as in progress, for example, what we want to do is for it to wait 10 seconds and then kick it back into and try to get the video again from HeyGen, right? So let's just run that so that it's populated. So you can see it's activating the true node. So just open that up. Cool. Now let's configure the email agent. So in this case, we want to choose a model, and let's choose GPT 4.1. And before we put in the user prompt, I usually like to start with the system prompt so that it just makes sense to me sequentially. So this is a system prompt that I have pre-written. And again, I wrote this one myself, so you guys can definitely do a better job by just throwing this into ChatGPT and have it just effectively prompted in a better way, right? So, but in this case, I'm simply asking it to be an email agent for Purple Unicorn Marketing. And your job is to craft an impactful email based on the information you receive from a form submission, because it's going to be fed in the user input some type of information about the clients or about the leads. And to pass along a short intro video along with the email. The goal of the email is to ask the prospect to book a time with you on this particular link, which is calendly.com/Purple Unicorn Marketing, right? So this is a dummy link, but yeah, you get the idea. So what you want to do is to have a clear goal of what the email is. And in this case, if you've got an inbound leads, you probably want to book a time with that particular lead. So, all right, you will receive the video link, and this is where we just tell it what it can expect in terms of the user input, which is a video link and a thumbnail to embed in the user input. Please embed the video link and the thumbnail instead of showing the entire long URL, because as you can see, both the thumbnail and the video URL is a long URL, right? So we don't want to just punch this into the email because it's going to look like a spam link and nobody's going to click on that. I'll put it in HTML so you can show the thumbnail image, and people can just click on the image and be directed to that video. All right, so anyway, that was the system prompt. And for the user prompt, essentially, what I want to do is I wanted to give it these information, which is the prospect names, phone numbers, the email address, the business URL, so that the agent can actually go into the URL and check out any relevant business information. So let's introduce a comma there and give it the marketing pain point so you can personalize the email a little bit further. And the additional two that comes from the GET request node, which is the thumbnail URL and video link. So just pass that to the thumbnail URL and the video URL in the video link. All right, cool. So Let's try to execute step and check out the output. So as you can see, the output here says, "Hi Jake, I hope this message finds you well. I recently had a chance to explore Okay, so let's output this into a Gmail note just to see what kind of message it sends out. So it's to send a message Gmail note. In this case, the action is to send an email, a message, and the email that we want to send it to is essentially, we're going to drag that from the email address on the form submission, right? So because this changes depending on the email address of the lead. And the subject itself could be fixed. So hello from, okay, or thank you for your inquiry. And this could be, Purple Marketing Agency. Sorry, it's a Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency. Cool, so remember we want the email type in this case to be HTML because we want the thumbnail to be embedded in the email itself together with the video URL in a pretty neat way. So the message itself, we're gonna have to drag from the email agent, and we're gonna drag the content of the message here, and there we go. All right, so we're gonna test a step. So it's sending something out. So let's check our email and see what we're receiving. All right, so it says, "Thank you for the inquiry, Purple Unicorn Marketing Agency." So looking pretty good in terms of format. So the email reads, "Hi Jake, I hope this message finds you well. I recently had a chance to explore Breathe Pilates, which is the business URL link that, if you remember, we input into the on-form submission. And I'm really impressed with the vibrant community and quality services you're offering in wellness and fitness." Pretty good personalization there as well. Clearly, you and your team are passionate about delivering value to your clients. After reviewing your business and learning about your interest boosting both performance marketing and content marketing, I'd love to share some tailored ideas on how Purple Unicorn Marketing can help Breathe Pilates reach more ideal clients and create engaging content that converts. To give you a sense of who we are and how we work, we put together a short intro video. Just click here to watch. So I'm going to click that. And
hey, this is Mark from Purple Unicorn Marketing. Jake, I saw Breathe Pilates is looking to boost performance in content marketing. Let's unlock new growth together. Book a quick call with me using the link below. I can't wait to chat and help your business thrive.
all right, so and then the link is embedded here, and they can easily click on it and book a time with you. So cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. Of course, there are a couple of things to be tweaked. There are a couple of things to be improved. The video itself could be better, could be more personalized. But of course, that goes down to the script prompt agent. You could do a better job at prompting. As I said, I literally just typed it in myself. So you could definitely use some form of prompt engineering finesse in doing so. I hope that was helpful. I hope this workflow was valuable. I think it is. It definitely would improve the inbound experience for any type of businesses, for services especially, but of course, any type of businesses, SaaS, B2B SaaS especially, could definitely use something like this. So let me know if you face any difficulties in any part of the build, and also let me know if you have any other ideas on what next to build in terms of workflow. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. It'll help me out a lot. And I'll see you in the next one.